My name is Teresa Kovlak, and today we are going to be making some of these colorful bubbles. So I'm going to show you how to do this, and let's go ahead and get started. The supplies that you'll be needing are some alcohol inks. These ones are made by Ranger, and I have Mermaid, Raspberry, and Sunshine Yellow. I will have those in the description box below. The other thing you'll need is a couple of paintbrushes. If you have a fan paintbrush, that would be great. A couple of smaller ones and a medium one. So that's a number 2. Then you'll need a little container for alcohol. That is the 99% alcohol that I'll be using. A handful of the Sharpies. I use these to do the accents. And I love these ones that have the brush tips. So it is a brush tip Sharpie. These are great to have. I also have a couple of the regular ones. The Posca pen, I'll be using that. That's an acrylic base pen. I also will be using a white gel pen. And then this here is an alcohol blending pen. And I'll actually be using that to pull out some of the where I'm shading in or putting highlights. And then the paper that I'm using is the Yupo, and this is actually made for Ranger, and it comes in a 5x7 sheet. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to move everything aside. You do need 4 glasses, and you preferably want 4 different size glasses to do this project. I'm going to set my inks aside, and let's get started on this so you can see how it's done. So, piece of Yupo, and I take my inks and I mix them into little bowls, and this is 99% alcohol that I showed you and the colors that I showed you, and I just kind of pour it on. And people ask me on how do I come up with how much ink to how much alcohol, and it's about 3 tablespoons of alcohol to 1 teaspoon of the ink. I'm just taking my fan brush and kind of pulling the ink around so that all of the area has some color on it. And I am working on paper towels so that the excess can go on there. I'm just going to dump that little extra off. And it's up to you. If you want to tip your paper and blend it a little bit more, you can do that. And I kind of like that right there. So I want you to be able to see. So we're going to go ahead and put that right on the paper. Set our paper towels aside so we can reuse them again. And I'm just going to dry it down a tiny bit so I can put my glasses on. And you don't really want to get it too dry because you want to put your glasses on and then dry it down. And now we're going to dry it down again. I'm using a blow dryer. This is a blow dryer that's made by Conair, and it has a attachment that hooks to the end here, and it would be for like using to curl your hair. You can pick this up online. If you don't have this, use a regular blow dryer, low heat, because if you put high heat, it will warp the Yupo paper. So now when I'm picking up my glasses, I'm gonna just kind of shoot my air down below as I'm picking it up, and that way if it is real wet, then it's not gonna spread all over. And on our other piece, you can see we had a bubble on the top part. I want to go ahead and put that in right away. And how I put that in is I'm going to take just one of my old paper towels, and I dip the edge into some alcohol, and I'm just wiping the edge of it. And I'm going to go ahead and put that on. Now I'm going to press down and give it just a little twist. And you can see my alcohol was a little light there. And that's going to be okay because I'm going to highlight it with the gel pen anyways. So let me go ahead and dry that down rest of the way real quick. So you can see the line is really light right there. But we're going to go ahead and start highlighting. And first thing I'm going to do is take my pen that is an alcohol blending pen, and I'm going to take that, and I'm actually going to make a paper towel. So I'm actually going to take it and I'm going to pull a little bit of that ink out. So I just want to start doing highlights. And I'm just pulling that ink right out. And I kind of work on more than one bubble at a time, just so I can kind of see where I want my highlights going. The other thing is, don't be afraid to turn your painting around so that it's easier for you to work. So if you need to flip it upside down, do that. So I'm just pulling the colors out. This is going to be our top bubble here, so the other bubbles are below it. The other thing I like to do this is what you're going to need the Sharpies for, is after and before and while I'm doing it, I like to add in some accents. Just some different colors. Just picking up the different colors and the reflections. And to have a circle all the way around, we're going to take our cup and put it back down on our line. And we're going to take our gel pen and we're just going to highlight it all the way around. So there's our circle. Now, when we do the other circles, we got to remember that this is our top bubble here. So we're not going to cross over that line. Like that. And we'll do each one of those. When I'm picking my glasses, I like to use a glass that has a heavier base. And I also like to use different size glasses. So it's up to you. If you want your bubbles all to be the same size, you can do that. So that makes those pop out a little bit more. Then, like this one here, let's see if you can see that. Like this one here, I'm taking and I'm putting in the different highlights. So you just want to keep going through and highlighting. This is that Posca pen that I was telling you about. Now this is where it gets a little tricky here. You want to remember that bubble's your front bubble. So these lines you want to remember can go on top of the others. So I can take and actually go right over top of those bubbles. I color some in and just kind of just add some character to it. If you ever watch your soap bubbles when you're doing the dishes, you'll see they have little reflections in them. So you can pick up the different colors from everything around it. I'm going to turn this around so it's a little easier to work. When you do an abstract piece like this, when you do an abstract piece like this, what's nice is you can turn it all different ways and figure out what way you like it best. And you can hang it on your wall or put it in a picture frame and put it on your shelf. The other thing is sometimes I'll accent the lines that I put on. So the colors that I put on, I'll come back and I'll just kind of highlight them. And it'll help make your bubbles pop. Makes them stand out a little bit better. So you can pick and choose whatever colors you would like. You don't have to use the same colors as me. But I certainly hope this video was helpful to you. And maybe you can pull out your inks and do a painting of your own. I am on Facebook and Instagram under my name, Teresa Kovlak. And you're welcome to follow me there and see other works of mine. Well, I think I'll call this about done. Maybe I'll add a few more accents in, but I think this will help you figure out how to do your own bubbles. So again, my name is Teresa Kovlak. Thank you for joining me, and if you like this video, please hit the like button down below and subscribe. That lets me know that you would like to see more paintings. And thanks again for joining me. Have a great rest of your day and happy painting.